Good morning. Hi, hello. I am here with an Oshi of mine. Whoa.
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 But look at the cat. He was so cute. Well, I'm distracted by the emoji.
Oh.
Tell everybody. Hello, yahoo.
Hello. Yeah, on my stream I showcase like community cats, and then in the live chat, I have that emote. It's amazing.
Nice.
So many
Nice.
cats.
I'll have to contribute.
Yes, please. I will always accept more cat contributions. But yes, hello and good morning. Welcome to Idle Talk. This is the podcast where I sit down with breakfast with my audience. In this case, it might be your dinner if you are a Sunny fan. And we talk about idols. And today the subject is this lovely Oshi of mine, Sunny Saurus, who does so much, and I don't know how you have the mental capacity to do all of these things at the same time. It's crazy, but yes.
I don't know either. I'm giving it a hot go. That's me. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Can I do an introduction?
That would be good.
I'm Sunny losing my voice today, guys, but we're battling through. Yahoo, everybody. My name is Sunny. I am an idol from Australia. I am a soloist. I'm also the leader of Fable. I can see some people I know in the chat. Thank you for coming. I've been doing this a very long time. I've been a performer for 9 years. I've been an idol for 7 years. Lots of stuff. I put out an EP at the beginning of this year, and my group put out an EP last year, and I'm also working on a new one. So I do a lot of things. I mentor idols, I run groups, I run shows, I make music, I perform, and I make costumes. So whatever you want to talk about, I've probably done it.
Literally everything. Literally everything. I don't know how you do it, man. Oh my god. What does like a month for you look like in idol activities?
At the moment, statistically, I perform more than once a week, which is crazy. I don't know how that works.
That's insane.
It's like, there are weeks where I'm not performing, so it's more like some weeks there are multiple performances, which is like just a crazy statistic at the moment. So what do we got? A week for Sunny is looking very like, I do have a real person job as somehow as well. So I work at a school. And then once I get home after my long-ass shift, I basically just idle until I go to sleep. So it could be anything from making costumes for me or for my group, recording. It could be graphic design or admin. I do a lot of audio or event planning or submitting applications. At the moment, it's a lot of graphic design because I'm working on that part of my EP right now, or talking to producers and artists and stuff, so something along those lines. Or I might have a rehearsal, so I do a minimum at least 1 5-hour rehearsal a week with Fable, and then I have to find time to practice solo as well.
That's crazy.
So there's a lot of that happening, and then usually I will perform once, and that's usually like takes up most of the day, because but if it's a show I'm running myself, it will take the whole day. If it's a show I'm guesting at, it takes half a day, because you kind of have to get ready, and then commute, and then bump in, perform, meet and greet. Peace out. So it's a lot of stuff, but it's I don't know. The schedule is very much wake up, go to work, get home, idle till very late, go to sleep, wake up.
It is very similar to VTubing, because that checks out pretty much.
Yep.
So you've been performing for 9 years. Was it always like idol stuff, or did you do standard performing arts before idol?
I did some K-pop performance before this, but I have no formal training. So I didn't
Oh,
take dance
wow.
lessons as a kid or anything like that. I basically moved across the country and was like, yay, I'm free. I can do dancing now. And I started doing K-pop cover stuff. So I was in a K-pop cover group for several years, but only 2 specifically before I started doing idol as well. So I used to do K-pop and idol at the same time. So I was in like a very slay. We did a very different kind of music kind of group. I decided boy group dancing actually. So I did boy group dancing and then I moved through and I started doing idol as well. So and then I've just been doing idol for ages. I slowly phased out the K-pop.
So nearly 10 years. How has the scene locally changed from like 9 years or so ago to present day, kind of? Because there was a lot of changes online that I saw from the kaigai idols world. I don't know anything about Australia though. And you guys do shows a lot, which is kind of insane to me. Because that's not something super common over here.
No. I think that's the interesting part about the Oz Idol kind of storyline there. So I think the biggest change in the last 9 years is we have a scene now, because there wasn't much of one when I started. It was I got into it just as it was picking up, and everyone was kind of trying to perform at cons, but there weren't many conventions. But it was just at the phase where we had a lot of cosplay idols, so we had like several quite influential Love Live groups across Australia. And then it was just hitting the point where some of these groups were like, actually, I want to cover idol music. And half of us didn't know what that actually was. So that's literally what happened to me. I joined a Love Live group and I did one performance and they were like, please be a permanent member for our team. Also, we're going to be J-pop idols now. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but that sounds fun, Chief. So there was kind of that thing happening. And then independent shows, they were kind of happening with Brisbane. And I don't know as much about the Brisbane scene because I'm not from Brisbane. So there were, Amy's was doing some stuff in Brisbane. But in Sydney, there wasn't independent shows. There was idols performing at conventions and there was AGS 10-2 performing at their little maid cafe, and that was it. But that kind of worked for us because we were a lot more low-key. And then we held like the first ever sort of independent live outside of AGS 10-2, which was a big like Valentine's collaboration show between a few different groups. So we were like, it was really tricky the first time. So we're like, can we find a venue? Like, how do we do all this stuff? And we threw one together and it went really, really well. And we were really happy. And then months later, we went into lockdown for COVID.
Oh.
So that was it. We were in lockdown for like 10 months from there. So, which only fueled it more because a big part of the drive to do independent shows in the first place was that not everyone was getting onto con stages because there was too many of us and not enough. The cons weren't interested in idols that much at that time. They'd have a few cosplay idols, but we were sharing the stage with bands, which bands are great too, but there was so many of us and a lot of people weren't getting in. And then also they didn't have the capacity to accommodate us to do idol as opposed to cos idol because they didn't have microphones. And if they did, they had 1 or 2. And we were looking, like some of our groups, the group I was in, we had 10 members. So it was like, we can't sing in that capacity at all. So it was kind of a, well, we'll do it ourselves kind of moment, which I think is a very Australian way of taking things and pretty much why we ended up with shows. So we went into lockdown. We came back from lockdown. There's no cons. There's no events. So everyone hit the, well, fuck it, we'll do it ourselves.
That's crazy.
So myself and Amy from Vivid, we ran a show as just the 2 of us. And it was really strange because it was still, there was a lot of restrictions here for events. So there was no cheering allowed. We could only have 10 audience members. They had to be in seats a specific distance apart, a specific distance from the stage. It was like a really strange time to be starting lives. But we passed through. We did that one. Etu did a independent live for the first time. I did a birthday live. And from there, it kind of snowballed. The scene is very like once one person does something, everyone sees it's possible, and they all jump on. So from there, shows started to pick up and everyone kind of shifted more we got more serious about things. So it started off as like we were still dancing primarily, and we'd sing 1 or 2 songs. To as time passed, we were singing all of our songs. To then suddenly we're singing off vocal. To then suddenly we're like, let's make our own music. So it's been a big in Sydney. It's been very like a snowball right down from that. So I always found it really interesting. The international scene started with music. They were like, yeah, let's make songs. Whereas we were very much like, no, let's have shows. We want to perform and then we'll make music.
I guess
when we get
that
better
is
at
the
performing.
difference. Because,
So,
I
you guys had
remember
music
seeing
long before
groups
us.
with songs way before I started seeing shows. Like, I feel like shows is a fairly recent thing in America.
I think so too, at least I haven't seen them.
Yeah,
much.
I know that at least on the East Coast there's Idol Gateway, but I think we just have more conventions. And because there's more conventions, even though it's still competitive, like there's more opportunities to get in. It's interesting.
Exactly. We've got like 10 cons max across the country, I reckon.
That's
to have
crazy.
performance stages in the whole year. So it's like not much, to be honest.
That's crazy.
So it's a lot harder for us to do like a con season and survive off of that. It's a lot harder for us. Like, it's so interesting to me that America has the potential for idols to be full-time idols in the first place, because there are enough events to do that, and that's just not possible here. And like, that's just so interesting. Can't even. No, definitely shows are new for America. I had a few idols from the US reach out to me because they're like, hey, Australia runs a lot of shows. How do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you do that? What are you guys doing? It's like, here you go.
Tell me the secret.
12 paragraphs. I'll tell you everything I know.
So, like, what is the, like, very quick running a show 101 just, like, agenda and timeline? Like, what goes into running a show?
Run on passion and shoeys, real.
Are shoeys actually a thing? Oh god.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
There are shoeys. I feel like I've seen idols do it on stage here on rare occasions, but it's definitely a thing.
God.
Shows kind of vary a little bit. It depends on the kind of show. So once a group kind of establishes a repertoire, it becomes a lot easier, because if you're doing at least a one-man live, you're looking at anywhere between 15 to 20 songs in a set, but you need to be able to perform. So that takes time in its own. But if you already have a repertoire built up that you can pick and choose from and that you keep rehearsed, it's kind of, you don't need that prep time. So factoring that out, I'd say like you could put one together pretty fast, but it is a lot of work, because you've got to concept it, because there's all the marketing stuff. So the live needs a name, it needs a concept. Why are people coming? What's the appeal? What kind of songs are you doing? Why should they come to this live as opposed to another live? So you put all that together, you work out who's performing. So is it a one man? Do you have 20 songs you could do as a one man? Do you have the stamina to perform 20 songs in one set? Or are you collaborating with someone else? Or are you running a tie bar? Because I run a tie bar as well called Idol Force, and that one is a lot more work because you're managing a lot more moving parts. Less performing, but a lot more admin. So you kind of put that together, and then you've got to reach out to the venue and find a date. Live feed names, they do. So you reach out to the venue, and then you kind of got to accommodate to their schedule. Idol shows are pretty small, so it can be hard to find venues that are A, affordable, or B, are willing to work with you, because you don't sell as many tickets. So we're considered quite a small event. So a lot of the times we're compromising by going, yeah, we'll do a show on a Sunday, because no one wants to perform Sunday nights. Like, big acts don't want to do Sunday night shows. So like, yeah, we'll take Sundays. Well, that's why all the idol shows are on Sundays.
So, interesting.
That's a big factor for a lot of them. So I know some venues will be like, yeah, you can have the Sunday night. We don't. We'll be happy just to have it booked. And then they'll sometimes give you a cheaper rate as well. Like, yes, we'll let you do a show with 30 people that attend on a Sunday night for cheap, just so we can have it booked. So that kind of thing happens a lot. So you talk with the venue, you submit anything they need. They often need, like, give us your graphic, give us ticket links. They need insurance. They need all kinds of things. So if you have a running relationship, so I run a lot of shows with a particular venue, they kind of have everything on file. So it's usually just, here's the updated ticket link, here's the graphic. You know what's happening. if you're working with the same sound tech, it can be useful. We're just about to change sound tech, so we've got to redo a tech brief, so like a whole document explaining how idol shows work, because most sound techs don't understand the idol format because it's a little bit different. We're explaining like how things work and that everyone's going to cheer and this is the way things run. They might call for an encore at the end. Don't be caught off guard. They might do it.
It might happen.
It might happen. So that kind of thing. So I've got a big document now that's also like 3 pages worth of this is how the show works. This is how it's going to run. There'll be a merch meet and greet at the end because that's also unusual. All that kind of explanation. What music you want played at the beginning of the show or played while merch is running, and then lighting cues and all that. So you submit that, how the show works, and then you actually put together your set list of your 20 songs and work out what order they go in. Which is, at least for me, I think way too much about that. But
oh no, I feel the same. Like
what order they go in, where your MC breaks are, taking into account like energy levels, members that have different energy levels, the energy levels of the audience. You know, because if you put your 3 most high energy songs back to back, they're going to be tired and they're not going to have fun. So you work all of that out, and then you make the tech document, which has all the songs, how many microphones, do they need to be muted, who's performing, what lighting cues, things like that. So you plot all that out. You submit that document to the tech guy as well. And then there's other admin, like you got to actually put your tickets up for sale. You have to have a working website that has tickets available to track who's buying tickets, how many people are coming, but marketing, social media, people actually come to your show. And then kind of you're functioning mostly if you get all that done. Pretty functional. For us, we also bring a lot of our own gear, so we have our own microphones.
Yeah.
That we bring, so I have to make sure we've got those and they're functioning. We have like a big tub that's got cables and everything you can think of in it to run a show. So pack all the gear. And actually rehearse would be good if you have time.
If you have time, rehearse.
You might have to maybe do some practice. Learn your lyrics and all of that. Prepare the show. Prepare any costumes if they're new costumes. Whew.
Oh.
I hope not. So sometimes sewing, wearing costumes, and then you run a show. And then on the day is like crazy. There's a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot of. I think as an idol who is also a manager, it's difficult. Some groups are lucky that they have a dedicated manager or a dedicated sound tech or something who's kind of looking after things while you're on stage. That is not the case for me. So there's a lot of moving parts where you kind of, the people are coming in and you're trying to manage the door, you're trying to manage tech when we're starting, how we're starting, is everything functioning the way you want? You're managing merch, you're trying to greet guests. I'm managing my members. Are they ready to go? Do they need anything? What's happening? Blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of moving parts. Talking to the venue itself, that's usually a separate staff member. The sound tech's usually a separate. And then you do the show. And then you do meet and greet, which also has a lot of moving parts, making sure, especially if you have a big turnout, managing meet and greet so that you get through the line in a timely manner and people aren't sitting around waiting for really long periods of time or are rushed through their interactions, or the most efficient way to do that. And that changes every show really, because it depends on who's there, which members are there, because sometimes you get a lot of people come who want solo check-in, sometimes they want group check-in, sometimes they want one of one member, and other times all the other members' fans have happened to be free this day, so someone else is popular, and there's a lot of managing that on the fly. And managing when you need to be bumped out by, and making sure tech is simultaneously bumping out, the venue is bumping out while this is happening. We do that, and then it hits midnight and you're finished. Pack the car. Woo! That's the rough idea, I guess. It's a lot.
That's...
to summarize.
There's a lot. Oh my god. So how long
Yeah.
does it generally take you from start to finish, like start to show day, I guess, to plan a live?
Mm, I could. Oh, this is like how much would I like, or how much could I do it in?
How much would you like?
It depends on the show. Something like Idol Force, which is a time bar, I would like a month.
Mm,
And that's mainly because you're chasing and managing a lot of people. So
yeah.
instead of being like, yep, here's our audio, I know what all the audio is, I have all the audio on my computer, I'm waiting for 5 groups to send me their graphics and their audio and their run sheets, and then checking that all works, and then implementing that all, and then making a spreadsheet, including all of their stuff. So
Yeah.
for a time art, I like to start admin at least 4 weeks before the show.
Mm.
Um, for a Fable one, man, because everything is pretty like we're reusing stuff that's already been set up. I could probably whip one of those out in like 2 weeks. It's pretty easy to throw together.
Yeah, because
Because
you
like I said,
guys
I like
already
all
have your
these documents
stuff.
I've already prepared. I have all these
Yeah.
templates now, which has taken me a long time, but it's very much even for Idle Force really, like if everyone sent me exactly what I needed on that one day, I could do that very quickly too. Like 2 weeks would be good.
That's
But
crazy.
just people have different circumstances, so it
Yeah.
could depend on what. Depends on what else is going on. Am I performing a lot at the same time? Is this a busy season? I don't know. But I really don't know. I just kind of lock in. Like, yeah, we need to have a live on this date, so let's do it. Or it's very like you'll ask the venue, hello, what dates do you have available in September? And they'll be like, we only have this one date. I'll be like, fuck, that's in 2 weeks. Cool, we'll take
Mm.
it. So
That's
yeah, I think
insane.
minimum 2 weeks, because otherwise you also don't get enough time to advertise, and then people can't come, and you're gonna have a really small
Yeah.
turnout.
So
So 4 weeks is ideal. 2 weeks is doable.
when it comes to idol lives, what do you look for in venues that might not
Mhm.
be something you look for just like regular music, in your opinion?
Um, for idol shows, you need to have enough room to do a meet like techie lines.
Mm.
And that's particularly important if you are doing a Taiban. If there are
Mm.
multiple acts, you have multiple groups of people that need to have meet and greets happening, and they need a space to take checky. And that ends up being a lot of space. And I feel like this Sydney scene at least has gotten really good at being like, yep, I found a corner, a meter by meter, I can work with this. Um, we're pretty good at Tetrising ourselves in now, but
Mm.
that's a pretty influential factor. Even in like the venue I use most primarily is quite spacious, but once you put 5 groups worth of merch tables in there, it
Yeah.
becomes cluttered and small quite quickly. So that's a big factor. Otherwise, there's you don't really need too much. We just mainly look for speaker capacity.
Mm.
Because like we said, we bring our own gear, so we have our own microphones, because most people do not have. You'd be lucky if a venue has more than 2.
Mm.
So if you're having groups on stage, you need your own microphones. So bring those. And then lighting is like a big pro if they do have lighting.
Mm.
Makes like really ups the vibe, but you can get away without it. And we do also have some of our own lighting for the
Mm.
same reason.
That's crazy.
So back when we started out, it was very like sorry. It was very nothing had much of anything, and the venue we were using primarily was often broken or didn't have the things we needed. So we kind of were just it was an empty room, and you kind of pull the stage out of the back wall and you set it up yourself, and then you bring your own microphones and your own lights, and you go ham, your own
Oh my
decorations.
god.
So mostly looking for that. And then size of stage, again, if you're doing a Taiban, you have to think about who is performing. So if
Yeah.
it's a really little stage, that's fine. But if you're gonna want to get your friends who have 7 members on there, it's
Yeah.
not gonna work. So yeah, usually a decently sized stage, because I feel like at least for me, Fable is very dance heavy. So
Mm.
even though there's only 3 of us, we're like swinging our arms around. We'll wipe each other out. So we can function in a smaller space, but we do give a better performance on a larger stage. So we try to look for stage space, and we try to look for room for meet and greet tables. I think are primarily.
Mm. So, you mentioned previously that you generally want around 2 weeks worth of marketing. Kind of what goes into
Mm.
marketing for a show, besides like maybe the graphic?
I would like to do more with marketing. We just never have time.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So
you guys are independent, so you don't have like a marketing manager or anything like that.
Yeah. When I was on top of it, it was a bit better. So there's obviously going to make the graphic and announce it, and it also gives your community time to be like, to make plans. So, I can attend, or I can take the day off work, or I can, organize someone to pick me up so I can attend. So it gives them time to organize themselves, which is a big factor. It also gives them time to actually see the graphic, because a lot of the time social media at the moment is really bad at pushing out things to even your followers. So a lot of the times they miss it. So you sometimes needs a few pushes before people actually go, oh, you're having a show. I think in the last year in particular, there's been a big push for, the Discord server is really helpful. So I don't know if you're a Sunny fan, you're not in the Discord server, I highly recommend, because you get pinged anytime there's an event, so you can put it in your calendar. And we also have an Australian Idol time tree. I don't know if you know that app. It's like a community calendar, and we just update it with live events.
That's so cool.
So everyone can see, and it was in particular to encourage interstate, because there was a lot of people who would come into the Idol Discords or be on Twitter or DM the idols and be like, hey, I'm coming to Sydney in a month. Are there any shows on? And I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I'm not having a show, but such and such might. And it was a lot of, which is really helpful for that, because you could just go, oh, I'm going to be in Melbourne in a week. What are Melbourne doing? And sort of scroll through. So there's a little community calendar, which I think is really sweet. Shout out to Gen 2 Fable for that. Very cute really calendar. Cool. That helps a lot. I find that there's not much, I haven't found anything else very helpful in that. Flyers can be helpful, but we haven't seen a lot of actual turnout come from flyers yet. So it can be good if you promote at another event. So if you go to like a convention and be like, we're having a show next week, that can help, as we'll have some turnout. Or if there's another show during the day. So if you're like there's a con during the day, your show is in the evening, it can be easier to carry through. So that's why I think there's a lot of double events, because sometimes it's hard to make it out. So a lot of the Oz community is pretty pro doing a bender day, because they're like, well, if I'm going to come out, I want to see all the idols I can, So they like making a whole day out of it, because they can't necessarily do 2 days worth of idols. So works for some, not for others. You can videos on TikTok and stuff are appealing, and I feel like they encourage hype and they help turn out a little bit from within our community, because they'll be like, oh, they're going to do different songs this time, maybe I will come. But I haven't seen any new turnout from TikTok in particular. Most of our new turnout comes from conventions, where we do a stage set at a convention and be like, hey, yo, we're idols, come to our show. And we have a show. They're like, whoa. And then they come. And also where we get all our new idols from, if you talk to other people in the community, they'll be like, yeah, I found idols because I was at this convention and I stumbled across the stage and I fell in love, and now I'm also an idol. So
that's how I found idols, so I feel called out.
Yeah, the new gen seems to be that's how they sort of stumbled across it. The gen where you can tell the Oz Idol gens by that. They'll either be like, I was a Love Live dancer and this just happened, or they'll be like, I saw an idol on stage at a convention and now I'm also an idol.
Well, I became a Love Live dancer because I saw a Love Live dancer on stage, and then I became an idol after. So it's like mixed.
Win.
Yeah, for real. But yeah,
taking marketing suggestions.
Yeah, bro, I'm a fucking VTuber. I have no fucking clue.
Yeah, it's very different. You need online people. I would like physical human beings.
Like, it's one thing getting a person to come into a stream, but I found, because I do occasionally do in-person performances, not in my flesh suit, obviously, but I have like VTuber concerts at actual locations. And getting people into a show is hard.
Yeah.
Especially when you have an online audience as opposed to like a local audience, I find.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like we were building ours up on like TikTok and stuff, but then they can't come to shows because they don't live in Sydney. So
yeah, they're not local.
Still beneficial, but it's not helping in that regard. So I find a lot of our variety content appeals to an entirely different audience, which we're trying to still do and look after. But in saying that, we haven't been able. We kind of lost the capacity to, so we're trying to rebring it. But we do stream our shows a lot of the time when we can. So I'm currently looking to re-implement that because it doesn't work right now. But were streaming our show, so you could literally just watch it for free, which kind of like both helped and hindered turnout, really. It kind of cancelled each other out because people who genuinely couldn't make it felt included and were happy they could see it and would definitely come to the next one. And people who couldn't make it anyways would watch the stream. And we found it didn't actually... People weren't going, I won't come, I'll just watch the stream. They very much still wanted to come if they could. But it really made everyone who couldn't make it feel more included and happy. So I don't know, I'm trying to bring it back, guys. I'm sorry. it wasn't working the last few times.
Don't apologize. Shit happens. You are one person doing the jobs of like 6 people.
We're doing our best. So streams will be a thing again sometime. This is the unofficial Sunny announcement.
I can't wait to see more Fable lives. It's very cool. So you have both a solo career and a group career, which you're always like, I was never supposed to have a solo career. But what are kind of like the differences between doing things as a solo idol and a group, since you have both of those experiences down?
Yes, I feel like the capacity of what you can do is different. Group is interesting because you have to compromise and you're trying to make several people show their best skills and be their best idol and all be happy and like what you're creative. And it's fun because you have a lot more input, but also at the same time you do have to compromise a lot. And you do have to think about, like, oh, this song would really suit me, but it doesn't suit such and such, or things like that are really impactful on it. And then the capacity of what you can do is different. So you can be a lot more dance-based as a group and still do vocals, whereas if you're singing as a soloist, you can only dance so much.
Oh god, this is something I've learned the hard way.
A lot of that capacity, but then you kind of also have to, like, it can be a bit like your sisters. Okay, how do I phrase? When there are other people in your group, there's phases where different members will be more popular than others, and it can be tricky to manage your own emotions in that way. And it's one of those things that it just doesn't necessarily mean anyone's better than others, but some shows one member will be more popular than the other, and that is just something you kind of have to be able to regulate yourself emotionally. Which can be hard, and you don't have to worry about that in solo. So it's a lot of you make all the decisions, which is fun. You get complete creative control. You can just do the songs that you like, but in saying that, you don't get a lot of input from other people. The stamina is harder, and is one person doing all the work. So it's got its pros and cons, I think. They're quite different, and I feel like the category of songs you can perform is a bit different. There's some songs that just don't work for a group, and there's some songs that just don't work solo, unfortunately. I feel like there's a degree of, if you get your stamina really ridiculously good, you can kind of pull it off, which is what I've been stubbornly doing. But yeah, they're a bit different in that regard. And like the branding's very different too, because you can appeal to more people because you've got different personalities happening, so it's very fun to lean into more of one member than the other and different shows and showcase that, whereas you don't need to necessarily do different like eras. You could just be like, oh, we're leaning a bit more like the aesthetic of this member this time, whereas when you're a soloist, it's like, I'm doing this theme and I'm doing that theme, which is also fun. So I don't know.
So you have music coming. When it comes to like working on your own solo stuff versus working on music for Fable, are those also different? I would assume they are, because you're working with your group members for Fable to...
Yes.
Yeah.
It is, but is it? I feel like Fable's a bit of a strange one because I sit in a weird like creative director role. So it's very much like should be collaborative, but I think a lot of the time it ends up being I'm like, guys, I've got this sick idea.
Guys, hear me out.
Sounds good, Sunny. And that's it. Like that's not a lot of pushback a lot of the time. So I really feels like me running with the ball. The others are like, yeah, go Sunny, good job. So there is definitely still collaboration, but I don't know. They're especially coming into the newer gen. I think they were very much. We're in a third generation, and we've had auditions both times, so people kind of came into the group knowing what to expect. So they kind of are just like, "Yeah, Sunny, what are we doing?" I'm like, "Huh, okay, let's go, team." So yeah, there's like a degree of that. So it's very much like I become one of my main jobs in Fable has always been like kind of communications. So I manage our email, I talk to all our producers, I talk to all the commissionaries and stuff. So I make a pitch, I'm like, guys, this is what I want to do. And they're like, yeah, sounds great, approved. And I'm like, okay. And then I reword it so that the producer will understand. Yeah. I send it to the producer and the producer goes, okay, got it. They cook something, they send it to me. I send it to Fable. Fable, what do you think? And then be like dot points. So like this, that, the other. Change this. This is blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, cool. Rewords for the producer. Make it do this. And so that's kind of my job. There's a lot of back and forth in that regard until it's finished and input. So that's fun. And solo is the kind of the same, except it feels more like I'm in my own little void. And I'm like, guys, does this sound great? Yes, Sunny, that sounds great. Okay, cool.
That's where I am at right now, because I will send like parts of my EP to my friends, and I will be like, am I crazy, or does this need to change? Or am I crazy, or does this sound okay?
Yeah. Big shout out to the Oz Idol community, because I was at rehearsal, I think, last weekend, having an absolute meltdown. Any idol that came over to say hi to us, I was like, just my EP, does it sound like a Sunny song for you? I was just losing it. I was really having a meltdown. I was like, what about this? This name sounds stupid, doesn't it? Losing my mind. And then I got to this weekend, we're at the show, and I was like, oh yeah, I fixed all my problems. Lace was there. Thank you, Lace. Shout out to Lace for putting up with my bullshit. And then I got to the show this weekend. I was like, oh no, I fixed it all. It's fine. I know what I'm doing. I'm quite happy now. Yep, it's all good. I'm fine.
But in addition to like having your own music, you also choreograph, which is kind of insane.
Yes, I do what I can. I want to say, so the Fable EP, we were really lucky to work with a choreographer. We had a little bit of budget for that, and we also, the Fable EP came out, was an incredibly fast grind, so we knew for a fact we wouldn't have the time to do all 4 choreographies, so we were like, well, throw money at the problem, and we'll get someone to choreograph. So that was really fun. I got to work with someone I'd been looking forward to working with. So we were with Jujubon, who was incredible, and they did Hypersleep, and we'll highly recommend watching those dance practices. Underrated. Start watching Akiname Future and go and watch Hypersleep.
Points finger at you. Watch Sunny stuff, please.
Sorry. So we did that, and then we choreographed the other 2. Naya was injured, so it was mostly May and I choreographing. What a time to be injured, man. So it was funny because I ended up doing most of Akira and I, and Mayhem ended up doing most of what was the other song, Sakeboze, which is just how it ended up happening. But it was really funny because we both did like the key, what I would call like the key choreography from both. So like the recognizable part of Akira and I is the para, right? And that was the bit Mayhem did. I did the rest of the song. All the other pieces, but Mayhem did the para. And then the other way around, Sakeboze was pretty much entirely Mayhem. But like the punch part in the chorus that's like really recognized, I did that part. So I don't know what that was about. So we did that, and then Reignition I choreographed and Coda helped me. So I don't know, I rocked up on a Wednesday night and was like, guys, the lives in like a week, we gotta bust this out. I just pulled it out somehow. I don't know. I've been dancing a while, so I think it just works out now.
That's
I'm not
true.
sure.
9
And
years. Plus, like, experience in a K-pop cover group.
yeah.
That's...
So we
Wow.
used to do little bits. My K-pop cover group kind of like to add stuff to our covers sometimes. So we did a little bit of choreography there. But when I was in my K-pop group, I was like the baby. So the others had actual street dance experience. And I was there like, hee hee.
Hee hee.
So, you know, it's interesting to me now that like my experience has kind of flipped because now I'm the more experienced ones in the collaborations I participate in. So I'm like, I'm the adult.
Scary.
So with my EP, I did most of the choreography. So I did Mahou Gyaru is me, Para Princess is me. Kira Kira Kampai is Naya did a good part of it. I did part of it, and then I also took it. I wasn't happy with it. I took it to a third choreographer, and they added a bit, so it's kind of a mixed bag there. Then Heartbeat Racer, kind of, I also took to another person because I wasn't planning on dancing, and then everyone was like, "Sunny, this is the two-step song," and I was like, "Oh god, okay." So please help me, person. So that's also a mixed bag because I kind of receive choreography and I go, this is nice, but also I change it now. Remix, the Sunny remix, and then my way I also choreograph.
The Sunny remix, so real. I mean, your choreography, I've seen some of it. It slaps. You slap. Oh, you should be confident in your changes. You slap a lot.
Thank you very much. Do my best.
So, like, you mentioned stamina. Is that something you consider when you do solo choreography? Because I would imagine you're dancing more in the singing breaks than when you're actually with a mic to your mouth.
Absolutely. It's very important doing solo choreography to manage that. When you're in a group, even if the choreography, that part is complicated, the singer can just not do it because you've got 2, 3, 4, however many other people doing the choreography to watch. So it doesn't matter if they just kind of stand there. Whereas when you're a soloist, if you're not doing the choreography's not happening. But so you have to be able to kind of do it at the same time. So it's one of those things where I haven't made dance practice videos for my solo songs yet because I feel like there are parts of it that just don't have choreography because it's not possible for me to sing and dance at the same time because my songs are quite vocal, so there's a lot of singing happening. Like that's why I don't. Heartbeat Racer doesn't have a lot of choreography because I'm screaming for my life, guys. Fighting for my life right now. I can't do anything. So there are definitely elements of. You do have to also realize that if you put a big dance break here, when you finish, you're going to be out of breath, and then you have to immediately start singing again. So, kind of. That's a big factor, and I think a big factor for me is also the order of the songs in my set as opposed to the choreography itself. So if there's a song that's particularly vocal heavy or is off vocal, I don't sing it with any backing. It's more likely to go straight after an MC because I've had some water and I've breathed for a few minutes. So I'll do that one, and then you get revealing all my secrets. Everyone's going to watch the Fable sets and be like, "Oh, I'm on to you." So very likely it'll start with the more vocal songs, and it gets more dance heavy as it leads to the next break. So there's kind of that element to it as well. But for instance, what are you doing? Like Kira Kira Kampai, I think is a good example because I do dance in that chorus because they're like Kira Kira Uta. Oh, I like jump it up and down that whole part. But it's pretty easy to sing Kira Kira, like it's not too bad. But you get to the end and it goes, like what's the last bit? Dancing forever dancing. And you see I stopped dancing. I say I'm dancing, but I'm not. It slows down because I need to breathe and then I have to hit the bell. So that last bit is more like arms than jumping so that I can go and then actually So it's definitely something you kind of have to factor in, and I highly recommend if you're choreographing for something solo that you are singing, you need to practice it singing and choreograph it while you're singing it, or you're gonna be like, "This is sick," and then you're like, "It's not physically possible."
Yeah, that's like a wall I've rammed my head into many a times. Because I'm more of a dancer than I am a singer. Singer has come
Yeah.
like within the last year, and I will find dances that I'm like, oh yeah, this is a group dance and it's like really cool and they're singing while dancing, not realizing that, you know, group dances are different from soloist dances and
Yeah, exactly.
when I'm thinking about covers, maybe I should think about altering choreography so, you know, I can breathe.
Yeah. Definitely simplify things. Or just be stubborn like me and just get really good stamina.
Yeah, I've been
Because
ramming
that'll
my
get
head
you
into
through a
the
lot of
wall
it.
for stamina. I've been like trying to
Just
like jog and
you can
sing at
jump
the
up and
same
down.
time.
Yeah. Literally just jump up and down and sing the whole song. And if you can do that, then you might be able to do the dancing. It's like that's
Might.
like the bottom. That's like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
At least for me, I'm a very like bouncy person, so I get really excited on stage. So even if there's no choreography, I'm usually hopping about anyway. So I kind of just like bit the bullet. It was like I need to be able to do every song jumping up and down, or it's just nothing's
Yeah.
gonna happen. I'm gonna do it anyway, so I may as well commit.
May as well make sure it's in capability to jump up and down.
Yeah. Physically capable of standing still and performing.
Like you said before stream, you are like a huge bubble of energy, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get excited. That's it.
Oh, it's because you're just like super excited about everything.
Yeah.
It's literal
very funny.
puppy energy. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's funny. I think people find it funny when they interact with me outside of shows because I'm pretty not like that. I'm like quite introverted and
yeah,
I'm just sitting in my corner, but I get really excited and then I bounce up and down and I'll run and so it's really all the time, every single show, I was like, I don't know how you have so much energy because we've just done the whole set. It's 10 p.m. We've just finished Bupan. I'm still running laps around the stage. And I'm like, I'm just really excited. And then the second they leave, I literally just like collapse.
Yeah.
On the stage. Had a nap the other day. That was great. Like the amount of times I've slept on the stage once you guys have left, like I don't think it's more than 3. Like,
do you ever
just lay down on it and have a sleep?
Multiple shows in the same venue in the same day? Like,
yes, we did one 2 weeks ago. We did 3.
3.
So we were interstate. So we flew across to the other side of the country to start with. God. And then we went to a convention. And so the Saturday of the convention, my schedule, got to the con. Fable set was at 12:30 or 1, I think. I think it was at 1 p.m., something like that. We did 30 minutes set. Had a little bit of time to kill. 4 p.m. I went to the main stage and I judged an idol competition. And then we left the venue, ate food, came back, and then at 8 p.m. we performed again on the same con stage, but after hours. It was like an after hours event. We performed another 20-minute set. And then we went back into the city to a different venue at a bar. We went to a rave. And we performed at the rave, the con after party rave. So we did another set at midnight. And then I went home and I went to sleep. And I woke up and I got back to the con at 11:30 and I performed a 30-minute set.
Oh my god.
And then at 4 p.m. Yeah, 4 p.m. I went back to the main stage and I judged the idol competition again. And that was my weekend. So I did 4 sets within 24 hours.
Oh my god. Wait, so idol competitions are also a thing at conventions there?
Oh, just that one. That's the only con that has one, I think. It's a karaoke competition, really, but they kind of this year branded it more towards idols. So it was a singing competition, but it was called, the Animega Idol. So I think it was in reference to like American Idol.
Yeah.
But it was competing was like mostly idols. The bulk. There was some vocalists, there was a lot of idols, and there was a few of like the Addy band's vocalists competed. So that was really Fable built different. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Look, a Fable, once you can do a Fable one, man, nothing really phases you. Like 21 songs of our energy level back to back. Ooh, that's like the hardest thing we do, for sure.
So what kinds of things, because you audition for new members, obviously those new members have to get used to kind of the energy levels. What do you kind of do to prepare them for these things?
Basically, the same way I trained, the same advice I give to other idols about building stamina is you need to rehearse at full capacity. A lot of people, I will go to the rehearsals and they're marking. I'm like, that's great for memory. That is not good for stamina, because once you get on stage, you don't even perform at 100% on stage, because adrenaline hits you, nerves hit you, you hit up 150, 200%. So you need to find 100% easy, or you're not going to be able to handle 150, 200.
Yeah.
So basically making them run it, making them do it full out, and then making them do the set back to back. So I'm like, no, we do these 3 songs with no breaks on the day. So we're not having a break now. We're going to do the 3 songs back to back. And then you can have a 2-minute break, because that's all you get in the MC. And then we're going to do the next 4 songs. Because we have chunks of our shows are 5 songs in a row. So they need to be able to do 5 full out with vocals. I'd be a little bit easier on them because they're starting out. I'm starting to get meaner. Kona's in the chat, they'll tell you. But just kind of slowly building that stamina. And there's a lot of that is a really big jump to go to, because I find, even though they're both they were both idols already, Fable is particularly known for having a very energetic repertoire. So instead of guerrilla groups will have their energetic song, or their, what are they used to call it, a pit stomp, which is basically short for curb stomping the pit, because it's really high energy and they're just going. So we were called pit stompers for a while, because every single song was like that, just our thing. But so there was a degree of that, but there was also a degree of you then start to pepper in okay, you guys do not have the capacity yet to be able to do 21 group songs back to back, no breaks. So we're going to put a solo here, so that way you're only doing 3 in a row, and then you get a break, and then I'll do that because I have more stamina. Or things like knowing when members need to breathe. I think even in Gen 2, when we were still building our stamina, some of us have better breath capacity than others. And so there are parts in songs and choruses, which is another benefit to group, where everyone is singing. But songs like Hashire in particular, we used to struggle with, because the chorus is really long and there's no breathing time, and it's just boo, 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 boo. And there was this part where almost all 3 of us would get 2/3 of the way through the chorus and we just run out of air, and then we would just not sing that one line because we needed to breathe, but all 3 of us would do it, so it would just go quiet. And so we had to be like, guys, we've got to stop doing that. We can't all stop singing.
Yeah.
So you have stagger it. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I have decent breath capacity. I can sing that line before I get out of breath, and then I will breathe on the next line, and you guys do that. And we're like, okay, got it. So you can, if you listen really closely, you can kind of pick out where we pick up, drop off. It was the same with Omon Pakaru. For a while, I think Mayhem in particular was pretty good at singing that chorus all the way through without breathing. And Naya and I would kind of come in and out, but it's members have different strengths. That's part of sort of playing to each other. So, Mayhem was our very dance-heavy member. So, there were parts where they would have to do dance breaks or have other lines, and they'd need us to come in and back up for other things. And then Naya and I do a lot of yelling. So we'd be like, guys, I can't sing that next line. I've just been belting. I need to breathe. And they're like, we've got it. Okay. So there's a degree of that. And then when the new gen were just starting out, it was a lot more covering for each other and planning that kind of thing. A lot more of me in particular going, I can sing the whole chorus. So if you need to breathe, take a minute, breathe, come back in, while they're getting used to it. And if you watch the debut live compared to more recent performances with Kona and Azusa, they've come a really long way. And I'm very proud of them. They're doing really good. Which is just the whole point of Idol, seeing everyone grow and improve. So highly recommend them. Come a long way. I'm very proud of the babies.
So when someone joins Fable, just newbie, right? Completely like baby. How long do they have before their first performance?
Look, historically, not that long. We would like to give them more time, but both instances where we've auditioned, it hasn't been like that. Which is honestly, coming into Gen 2 felt really bad for them. Gen 3, I was kind of like, yeah, this is a big, tight turnaround, but also now with experience, this happens to us a lot, so get used to it. Like, this is the Fable experience that you signed up for, because we get a lot of asked to do shows 2 weeks in advance, asked to fill in for shows 2 days in advance, set list changes that are last minute, audio issues. It's very on the fly, and so a big part of it is being able to adapt and overcome. I don't know. So it was very like, yep, this is a tight turnaround, but there's been so many instances in Gen 2 where we were like, well, we've got a show we've been asked to do next week. It's this theme. We can't not adjust to the theme, so we're learning a new song. Pick it up. So it was kind of like that. So Gen 2 had a month. They had, I think, 4 weeks before their debut. Because people could kind of tell. So, like, we held the in-person audition in April, and Mayhem's debut live was May 21st. So it was pretty quick. But we had 5 people, so the workload is a bit smaller. And we were still... It was a little bit... Also, they only did half the show, so it was kind of peppered in a little bit more. And then we came around to... we were performing a lot less then, so we came around to July, and then Naya debuted, and Mayhem had another 2 months to kind of pick things up, so it was all right in that sense. Gen 3 found out they were Gen 3 at the end of December, and they debuted a full one-man at the middle of March. So
that's crazy.
Less than 3 months. And they did, 18 songs, I think?
It's a one-man, too. Yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
So it was... Yeah, I can't remember exactly how many songs, but it was around... The show was around 18 to 20, and there were 3 solos, so they learnt about 15.
Dang. Holy crap.
Yeah. And then just from there was more, so they learnt even more again, because typically... Like, the show was a bit shorter because we were introducing the members at the beginning. So there was, like, the first 6 songs were solos, so they weren't actual Fable repertoire. And then they had the actual one man. But to do the actual next one man, they needed 6 more songs. So it's only just kind of... I feel like around now we've just kind of started to settle into the repertoire, where it's not like we need to learn new songs. We've still got new songs to learn. We're definitely still learning stuff, but it's slowed down. About now we're starting to be like, oh, we can pull this from our repertoire that now exists. Hooray! But it's been very grindy until about.
So, when Fable holds auditions, what do you end up looking for in people who audition?
Oh, this is my favorite question. I love talking about this. Fable auditions is very fun. Sunny's got a lot of hidden agendas.
First of all, what's the process, and then what do you look for in each step, kind of?
So, most auditions are very similar, because I was very happy with how it went the first time. So the Gen 2 and Gen 3 auditions are very similar. And basically, for everyone who was there, everything I made you do had a very intentional reason behind it. So we started off with an open call form. So anyone... expression of interest form. So basically you kind of tell us a bit about you, you send us a video of singing, you send us a video of your dancing, you send us your experience, you send us why you want to be in Fable, and we kind of just get the pool together of who's interested. And from there, we narrow down. We don't narrow down very much. We typically... Fable auditions are usually more based on attitude than skill, because we're pretty firm believers that skill can be taught. So as long as you have the right attitude, and as long as your goals align with what Fable want to do, because you could very much have the right attitude and still not be a right fit for the group, but a right fit for another group. So, with what you want to do with Idol aligns with what Fable plans on doing, then that's going to be... Everyone's going to be happy. If it doesn't align, you could still be a great performer or look great with the team, but you're not going to want to do what we're doing. Everyone's going to end up happy. So
yeah,
a little bit of that. So we don't cull much on that original expression of interest. We're looking for... very bare minimum talent, not talented, skill, like some people who have a little bit of experience because we are a fairly senior group now and the stamina level is quite high. So sort of a little bit of that, but more so like commitment. Did you actually film a video?
Yeah.
You know, did you actually fill out the form correctly? What are your actual goals? Did you list any? Why do you want to be a Fable member? So typically from there, we take as many people as possible to the physical audition because I'm also a big believer that even if your chances are lower, it's a really good experience that's going to help you at other auditions, whether they're for Fable or not. It's great to actually just go and get the anxiety out of doing one and have a chance to be on stage and get feedback and stuff. So also a lot of people surprise you. So take as many people as possible to the physical audition. But at the physical audition for Gen 3, I made a very cool PDF. I was very proud of my graphic design. I made like a whole like document. There was like a little PDF, like, ooh, here's what you need to learn. Here's what you need to do. So it's a bit different because we had originals this time. So everyone was required to prepare a solo performance. They were also required to prepare a clip of one of our originals. So Akirabarai Future, they had to learn a section of. They also had to prepare a part of a song we cover called Omon Pakaru. And then there was an interview portion as well. So we kind of told them all of this. And then we held it at a venue. So there was a stage. They had proper microphones. It was like proper setup. So they came in. We got them on stage. I made them introduce themselves. Didn't tell them I was going to do that. That was part of the quiz. Trick question. Can you introduce yourself on stage? How do you handle MC? Again, not a make or break factor, but a lot of it is just gauging where everyone's skill was at. The most important part of the audition for us was the interview because that's where we worked out whether you were actually going to be a good fit for the team. Everything else was gauging skill levels, so we knew what to help you with and what you would be good at. So that was kind of me gauging MC skills, particularly on the fly MC skills, because a lot of stuff just happens. Shows have a lot of tech issues. They have a lot of audio issues. So how well can you play it off? If I go, can you introduce yourself while I go deal with this crisis? So we were looking at that kind of thing. And then I also asked them a question that was a little bit, like, not a controversial question, but something that was a bit harder to answer. Like, you have to kind of... So I asked them all a question that I, again, didn't tell them about. I can't remember what some of them were. But things like some of our auditionees, obviously, were in previous groups, so I hit them with why did you leave your old group? Because that's a question you get asked a lot.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to answer in a way that you're happy with. You know what I mean? There's nothing bad about leaving a previous group, but you want to be able to articulate yourself in a way that you're happy with. So things like that. So I hit them with a question. And then they did their solos and did a full length solo. So we got which is a really good way to see stamina, because in a group, like, the stamina level is different. And most of our auditionees were either from groups or fairly new. So it was good to see where their kind of stamina was at, what sort of songs they like, what songs they thought were going to show off their skills well, or they thought showed that they were a good suit for Fable, were all really interesting to me. So that was really fun. We got a little show performance. It was really intimidating. We're like, you got to imagine, so they're on the little SCAC stage with their microphones. We're sitting at a table writing notes. Like, if anyone saw me at Animega Idol, that's exactly what I looked like at the Fable audition. I'm writing 8 billion things. I felt really bad, but I promise I was just writing notes to help you guys. So we did that. And then we brought back the challenge from the Gen 2 audition, which was to dance next to Sunny.
Dance next to Sunny.
Again, known for being very energetic. So we used to have problems with, when I was in other groups previously, where I looked too energetic compared to other members.
And they didn't match. Yes,
so it looked a bit out of place. So there's a degree of that, a degree of also, I think groups have different appeals. Fable's always been really interesting because we've always been 5 in, like 4, 3, 5, however many individuals. Like we look like a unit and a team, but we all have very distinct flavors. Whereas some other groups are very in sync. Like they're very polished. They all look the same, which is also good. It's just different flavors. So kind of looking for people that had that kind of appeal. Because when we were auditioning, it was going to be me and Naya and new members. So we're like, okay, who's has that kind of appeal, because we didn't want them to fade into the background because they have that kind of, it's a good skill to be able to blend into a group like that. But in our group, you're just going to disappear because we've got like like there's no center in Fable impossible. Everyone's just way too, you know. So we needed someone who could hold their own essentially against that. So we were looking for that. So they were all made to do it with me in a song that I performed 1 billion times. So was very confident in. And then it was also a really good show. It was me in particular because Naya was a stronger vocalist because they're like a trained vocally. They're a vocal trainer. They could listen to us sing together and see how the voice blend was. So I am also hilariously a very loud singer. So that was interesting as well. So they performed the set with us. We did the little Omo Pakaru clip, and then we surprised them and made them do it with each other.
Oh!
So we paired everybody off and made them do it as 4 and flipped them around a few times to kind of see, because we were looking at taking possibly 2 members, so we wanted to see how they played with each other. Yeah. But also, by doing the song with me, they could watch me. And copy the choreography. And we wanted to see how they did when they couldn't do that. And also, you know, if someone else was making mistakes, were they going to pick that up? How were they going to play that off? Which was really interesting to see as well, because there's a lot of like mistakes happen, especially in a show of 20 songs. You're gonna mess something up. It's how well do you play that off? So there's a lot of times where like we've been in completely the wrong formations for our song and just finished the song and no one's really noticed.
Yeah.
So just like that kind of thing, just to see. Fable's very adept. So we did that. And then we did interviews. So we talked one-on-one with everyone quite in depth. Mostly just about why they wanted to be an idol, what did they want out of idol, what were their goals, why did they want to join Fable in particular, what would they want to do with Fable, and then sort of saw how that aligned with what our plans were for the future, how much they wanted to practice, how much they wanted to perform, you know, how interested were they in original music, blah, 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 to kind of see. And that was the biggest factor in deciding who was going to be in the group. Like, did they want to do what we were going to be doing? Because they were going to be unhappy, and that was the last thing I wanted. So yeah, Coda and Azusa were picked from a second audition. Yeah. Yeah.
It's really interesting to kind of know the reasons behind a bunch of different things that you do at auditions, because I've also been in similar places, not auditioning for a group, but auditioning for like events and things. And yeah, you do throw in little curveballs like that and consider things depending on how people answer things. And I remember when I was starting out in like performing arts, I would do auditions for shows and things like that, and everything would be so scary. But
there's
once
a degree
you know
you kind of like have to give them a bit of grace because they're shitting their pants.
Yeah.
You know? This is like what the video submissions are for, because like they've had all the time in the world to film and refilm and things like that. So their normal's going to be somewhere between their very polished video and their incredibly nervous audition.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's so funny. Even though I now run
I don't know if any of the other idol auditions for this. I haven't heard about any others.
I wouldn't want to go back to auditioning. I feel like if I had to go back to auditioning for things, I would shit my pants every time. Like, there's no way around it. I would die.
I'd love to hear if any other Oz idols do auditions like that, because I think Aussie idols don't really have many multi-generational groups. So I think 4Q and Q are the only ones who kind of run groups like that as well. So no one's really doing auditions. There's original expression of interest to start groups, but no one's really auditioning for a new generation because there's just not a lot of multi-gen groups. But I'm really curious to see, because I don't know if anyone's doing, when you start a new group, you don't really do an in-person audition. So I don't think there's like many happening. I'm really curious.
There's a few
what people are sussing out
around when I was active that would do auditions with an established group, but it was really interesting because a lot of the times they wouldn't do an in-person audition, or if they did, it would be more like a rehearsal. So I don't know, I feel like different groups do it differently. That is interesting.
I think so, yeah. I think it's more common to have like a trial period.
Yeah.
Especially with a new group, because like you don't really know when you start a new group, everyone is kind of forms to the members that you pick, so it's less like you need to fit a pre-existing mold or a pre-existing skill level in a sense. But yeah, I think it's usually like trial periods. Yeah. Or like you do a fill-in. Because like when I joined Muse, I didn't do an audition, but they needed a fill-in for an event. And they held like an expression of interest.
For, like, cosplay.
I did that fill-in. And literally like that same night, they were like, hey, you want to be a member? I was like...
Which Love Live member did you cosplay?
Okay, I didn't get an official member.
You didn't? Oh.
No, because I did one fill-in show and I filled in. So I played Ruby for that one show because that's who was missing. And then I joined the group and they were like, psych, we're doing J-pop. So I was going to be Umi and probably Daya, but it was a toss-up between Daya and Ruby. So, because they had a Daya, and the Daya was like,
very different energies.
I think I want to be so Ruby. Well, Daya's my favorite, so I really wanted to be Daya. The Daya was like, yeah, I was thinking about being Ruby anyways. And I was like, please!
Oh! It's perfect.
But yes, my only ever Love Live performance with Muse, I was Ruby. It's not my fave, but it's okay.
You have the energy for her, though.
Yeah, not then, because this is when I just come out of my K-pop phase. And the K-pop group I was in, we covered like really like sexy dances. And we were doing like Abracadabra and like Go Darling and like those kinds of songs.
Yeah, classic.
So I was used to shaking ass. So I was really like, here is Ruby, like, I can be cute.
I can be cute, baby. Yeah. Question mark?
Yeah, it was a bit of a problem too, because the rest of Muse was really used to doing J-Idol, so they had that proper bouncy look.
Yeah!
And I had a very K-pop style dance at the time, so I did stand out a little bit.
What was that
in that way?
like?
And it would have suited a member like Daya or Yoshiko. It's fine, it's fine. Dance Captain Ruby is here.
So a sad cat, a girly pop? What? I think that's what you're... No. Yeah, I guess you could describe your Fuji as a girly pop. It is literally just a selfie of Sunny.
That's me.
It's me. Sunny.
Yeah. Get Sunny. This is the kiss I blew Twig the other day.
Oh my god, the Australians. The Australians are in chat. Boba and Sabra are both Australian.
Hello! I'm Australian. You can tell by my accent. It's just a popular person. No, that's my face!
That is Sunny. Hello, you two.
That's what I look like, guys.
So,
it's me, the Mahogyaru.
If people want to start going to Australian shows, where are kind of the hot spots and where should they look for shows?
On my social media. Come to me.
Yeah, follow Sunny right now.
No, I'm in a lot of the Thai bands, so you can find them through me. But you can also, if you reach out, I can send you the time tree. We do have a time tree, so you can see all the events across Australia. But and they're typically mostly held in the CBD, or the events I run are held in Marrickville, which are a short trip from the CBD in Sydney. If you're not in Sydney, you should, again, honestly, the trick is just DM me. I will send you where you need to go. This is what most people do, I promise. I'm in Victoria. I am not in Victoria. I am in New South Wales. But there are Victorian idols.
There are.
There is Christy. Christy is Fable alumni. So I love Christy. You can reach out to Christy. There's so many Melbourne idols. I can sit here and name them for ages. Charm Point is currently running live, so they'd be a good one to check out. There's a new type there. live coming up soon in Melbourne. We just came back from Animega, so I did come down for Animega and perform. But yes, there's that one. I think it's just Charm and Christy that run independent shows in Melbourne, but there are a lot of idols. There's Berry, and there's Lumedia, and there's Zero, and there's so many. I can't. If I start listening,
TLDR message Sunny right now. DM Sunny.
Honestly, if you need to, you're more than welcome to DM me and I will point you the right direction. But there's plenty of Victorian idols. Yes, Christy and Charm Point would be a great jumping on point because they run shows, so you can see their shows and their time bars they run and find all the idols from there. So they're kind of a good jumping on point. If you're in New South Wales, you can come to me. Or anywhere, just let me know. There's also idols in Perth. There's also plenty of idols in Brisbane, are kind of the big hotspots. But Sydney is the hotspot, and then Melbourne and Brisbane are like popping off. And Perth's starting out. Little babies. I love them.
I gotta get a passport and a fucking plane ticket to Sydney. Those lives look insane. I've seen clips of you guys' Taibans, and like, what always gets me is the audience is so hype. The audience is so there. And that is not something, well, it's starting to happen in the US, but if you're not in a hotspot, like, there isn't much of that going on. Like, people are very much in the cosplay realm of, like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I was talking to another US idol the other day, actually. We had a really fun Discord call that I really enjoyed. And we were comparing our audiences, and they said the US scene is they have a really big Wotegay scene there, like an actual Wotegay. And their audience is very split. It's either people who can do proper Wotegay and are actually spinning sticks.
Yeah.
And then people who sit and just quietly
stare.
Wave light sticks, you know what I mean? Yeah, stare. Whereas Oz is everyone's very into furry copy at the moment, so they will absolutely dance along.
Furry copy.
And then they're also very into the bit. Like, Aussies just love a fucking joke. If they can make up some kind of bit about your performance that they could do every time, they absolutely will. We do have a seated section as well, but there's a lot of everyone's really to doing the pit at the moment, and lots of bits. So very furry copy, and then if they can make a joke out of it, they will. Like, a great example at the moment, right? So I do para in a lot of my sets right now for obvious reasons. And I did a little dance class a while ago because no one knew any of these songs and they were really into furry copy. So I was like, let me teach you the furry copy so you can have a fun time at my live, okay? So they all came. They learned this dance. I made the mistake of explaining to them that para works because Eurobeat follows a very particular format. So you could do a para routine to any para song and it just fits because it's, I don't know the music terminology, but you can just do the choreography because it's all on that same, like, bap, 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 side to side. So I showed that to them. I was like, see, look, you can do this Ike dance I just taught you to everything. So as you can imagine, the Australians now do the Ike choreography to everything. So it doesn't matter which para song I'm performing. They're in the pit doing the same fucking dance. And it's so hard to keep a straight fucking face.
Me rocking up to the Sunny Live as a contrarian to do Night of Fire.
Literally. But it doesn't matter. I can perform Night of Fire and they're all doing Ike. And it's... But they feel like they've won when I crack, which is pretty easy with me. I'm very likely to laugh at them. But it's just so funny. It doesn't matter which of my songs I perform. I do my originals. Like, I taught them the Maho Garu choreography at the same class, but you bet they're doing Ike in the front. So, like, that's the running bit at the moment. Anytime a para song comes on, they get the arms going. Woo! So it's their new favorite Chikage. It's hilarious. It's very funny. But they just love a good bit like that. There's a Fable we still do. We perform a song called Pineapple Kryptonite by Atagashi Gakko. And in the original, they do a headstand, but for us, that was a bit unrealistic. So I do a handstand, right? And the first time they did that, I don't know, one of them was just like, guys, grab my legs. And they were like, what? And he just picked up And so there's these amazing pictures of just us on the stage, and there's like 2 Fable members holding my legs as I do a handstand, and you just see the swarm of audience. There's just 2 legs picking up because one of them is also upside down. And so yeah, they're insane. They'll do anything, honestly. Just love a good bit, or like some of their calls are really silly as well. They love making custom calls. I feel like America does that a lot too. You guys have more of those kind of silly calls.
I was in the
sure.
Tri-State Idol Union, and they have like a question of the day in there, and one of the questions of the day that they had was, "What's your favorite like WOTA like call mix, whatever?" And there were so many entries, like the Christmas Frosty Tiger, Ore no White Girl,
I keep hearing about this. We don't really do those here. We don't really, like, there's only 1 or 2 they pull out. We know the Harry Potter mix. They only do it because Naya released a song called Magic and it fits, so they do like the Harry Potter mix. Just because it's relevant. The only other one they like to pull out is we have a New South Wales trains mix, which is basically when you get a train here, there's like an announcement over the trains of the next stops, and they worked out that like North Sydney to the CBD, which is just like a really common line, you can just list all the train stops and it works. So they do like, "Doors closing, please stand clear. Chatswood, Watara, this one," and it's hilarious. But it's descended into worse chaos, unfortunately, because there was a glitch at the train station a few months ago.
Oh no!
Where instead of saying all the stops, it just said Chatswood, 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 like the same one over and over again. And they scared the crap poor Hibble Worry because she's performing and she has a song about coming to Australia, so they do the Australian train mix, right? Because it makes sense. And then they made the Chatswood thing had just been going around, so they get to that part and she's ready to do the call with them, and they just go Chatswood, 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 and she was like, "What is going on?" It was very funny. It was really funny. But yeah, anything for the bit. So they'll only pull out those kind of calls when they match the song and they're funny. But they're very. One of the pit leads is very inspired by the Chinese scene, so they do a lot of like lifts and 2-step at the moment. And like really experimental calls as opposed to.
So there's pit leaders in Australia lives.
Yeah, I would just say, well, there's usually someone leading the calls. Right? So I would say they're like leaders, but it's like the people who are either more experienced or more extroverted and are actually going to throw out a call for people to pick up. So there's a few of one of those guys who's particularly like, extroverted and confident and leads a lot of the calls, is very into the Chinese scene. So he's been bringing some of that over. It's been really interesting. Yeah, we got some OG guys who come in and throw calls around because a lot of at the moment, I think a lot of we've just had a kind of rehash. So a lot of our pit is newer to calling. So they have a good time following along. But they're very furry copy at the moment, at least for my sense. Everyone just wants to dance.
How did that kind of start in the Australian culture? Because like, in America, it's been kind of a underground thing. Like, if you have a group that does otage coming to your lives, it's great. Like, if Aniwaza comes to your live, you're gonna have a fantastic time. But other than that, like, festering that kind of culture is a little bit hard over here, I've found.
I think it's very making it an open and welcoming state for people to try, because there's a lot of intimidation where you see people doing that. You're like, "Oh, I don't know how to do that. I need to learn first." Like, no, you can just get in there and fuck it up. Like, we don't care if you do it wrong.
Yeah, for
and
real.
A lot of encouraging people. Like, it's a lot of me while the show's running, going around and fighting the people up the back who look like they want to get in the pit and be like, "No, you can go in. They'll make space for you. They don't mind. Go in. You can go up to the and it's fine," because they don't want to get in their way, especially when they're doing like big crazy stuff, like they're doing 2-step or they're running around. They're like, "Whoa, that's crazy, looks fun," but ooh. I'm like, "No, they'll make, if you want to go stand there, they'll do it around you. Like, they'll only take up as much space as free." And also, like fostering that into the pit boys themselves, like, be made mindful of who's around you, welcoming new people in. And they very much have the understanding that, if they want the pit to grow, they have to take people in. So they're very willing to let people come in and give it a hot go, which I think helps a lot. So yeah, there's a lot of idols. The idols themselves also get in the pit a lot. Where other acts, especially at Thai bars, like the Thai bar I was at yesterday, my set, there was like the front row was like 5 other idols who had performed earlier. But that helps too, because sometimes you need to lead the calls, because if they're one of the, you know, more experienced guys just doesn't happen to be there or doesn't know the calls for your song, it's very important as an idol on stage to handhold them a bit and be like, throw them out something, encourage them to go. Or, yeah, getting in the pit for someone else's set and throwing in stuff. So, especially for soloists, it can be hard to lead calls because you're kind of singing and dancing at the same time. You already got no oxygen. So, you know, if they don't, you know the song, and the new audience doesn't, or the pit boys don't, if you run in there and throw them stuff that they can pick up and sort of, you know, that kind of thing. So it's kind of fostering the community that you want to see, you know? I knew our community was really into free copy at the moment. They wanted to dance along. I knew a lot of my songs were like that, and I could see performing that they were trying to copy what I was doing, but it's a little bit tricky. So I was like, you know what, let's have a dance class. I'll show you how to do it. They came, and now my sets are really funny because there's like 20 people all doing the choreography. And everyone else is watching like, how do they know this? You know, so it's like sort of become its own thing. I was like at Omega, I had 2 kind of audiences. There was like the front of the stage where everyone was doing well-rehearsed para, and then the right of the stage where all the passers-by were like, what is happening? I don't know that choreography, so I'm going to stand over here. So it's really just fostering the kind of scene you want to see and being inclusive to people who want to start. So letting them know it's okay to go in and try, you know, letting them know that the pit will make space for them, letting them know they can free copy, encouraging them to do basic calls or leading basic calls. Because sometimes, like recently, we had a little bit of a problem. No problem, but we have like a really experienced half of the audience who's very good at calls and very good at all that kind of stuff. And then a lot of newer people who are just starting. And the more experienced boys want to do complex calls and want to play around with new tech and do stuff like that. And the newer audience have no idea what's happening. They just want to do an ooh hi, and you know, like a whoop whoop kind of moment.
Yeah.
So the other half is over that. They know that I'm so bored. Please, no more. So we ended up splitting our pit. So instead of having half seating, half audience, we put the seating in the middle. So there were like 2 mini pits. And we ended up with 2 sets of calls happening. So they were doing their tech on the side. They were having fun with their complex stuff. And the other side got to ooh hi, and have a go with it being less intimidating. Like they were, you know, they had to follow along the complex stuff. So everyone was happy for a while. But, you know, like 6 months before that, we changed to the pit we had before with the half seating, half, because that helps. So kind of just your audience will change as you go as well. So just playing to who's there at the moment and fostering what you want to see. So if you want people to call, you got to teach them calls. You got to let them know it's okay to call. You got to encourage them to call.
Yep.
And that's often idols in the pit for other idols. Idols supporting idols is how you get anywhere.
Yep. That makes sense. Yeah. My first exposure to calls was actually... Yeah, it was another idol group that had come to my scene when I was performing. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I go to like Katsucon one year. And they have a bumpin' scene, right? And so I was like, I want to learn more. But it's still, unless you are in a hotspot in the United States, I feel like there just isn't a lot of focus on it. Because not a lot of people know about it.
You just gotta teach people. Just throw them out there. You know?
Yeah.
Do a song that's got a mix in it. So someone needs to start performing Triple Mix by iLife or something.
Yes!
And then you'll be like, do that, they learn all the words, and then you hit them with another song, and then you just start singing that like we do.
Yeah.
You can fit that tech in a lot of songs, so then put another song in your repertoire that has that in it and start them off. And they'll be like, oh my god, we know this.
Yeah,
you know,
for real.
like it's teaching them what you want to see. There's a lot of like, you can also, we had a phase for a while, that we didn't have a lot of pit boys either. So we started making it fun for everyone else. So there was like one of our songs in the dance break, you could probably do a complex call. I wouldn't know, but you can also do the Macarena. So
yeah, true.
We did the Macarena. So it's also your responsibility as an idol to make it fun for the audience that you have.
Yeah.
So yeah, lead them with the calls, show them how to do it high, where it starts, hit them with the dan da da dan da, so they know where it starts. Because a lot of the time for newer audience members, they kind of get the hang of calls, they just don't know where they fit.
Yeah.
So if you give them the timing, they will take it and run with it. You give them something to do, they'll take it and run with it, so hold their hands a little bit.
Yeah. Very cool. Very awesome.
Like, good example, Saturday, the show I just did, there's a song I like to perform where for the chorus you run in a circle.
Oh.
You just run in a circle the whole chorus. Well, and you run. It's very fun. But it was a pretty small turnout, a much shyer audience. And it was mostly idols. And so it gets to the chorus, and I could see them all look at each other like they're like, oh, this is the song where we run, isn't it? Oh. And they didn't start running, but you could see they were like kind of thinking about it. So I was like, fuck it. So I got off the stage and I started running laps, and they all joined in, And I do this a lot. It's really 50-50 with that song, whether I get off the stage or not, because sometimes they're a bit shy and they just need the encouragement. So yeah, I just started running in the audience and they all joined in. They had a great time. I hope they did. Lace, did you have a good time? But yeah, they looked unsure. So, you kind of let them in on that. The coda's saying toot toot chugga chugga big red car. So in that same song where you can put triple mix, you fit the, how does it go? Jinso, Tiger, Fiber, Wiper. You can also fit a very iconic Australian children's song in the same spot. You could fit triple mix. So when we go to conventions or shows where the audience is mostly not hit boys or people who know tech or whatever, you can hit them with that because they know that song and they think it's funny and they know how to sing along. So we hit the dance break and I hit them with what they know. Big red car, and everyone's like, what? So it's very funny.
Hit them with what they know.
Yeah. Exactly. So play to the audience you have.
Yeah.
The priority for us has always been having fun, and that will change depending on who's in the audience.
Makes sense. Oh god. Sorry, I've been sitting too long. I'm like stretching while I'm talking.
Oh, stretch. Everybody stretch.
Everyone take a sip of water. Everyone. H2O. Yeah, that one's really popular here. Whenever someone like goes off to the side, just sips some water before they MC. H2O. H2O.
That's cute.
Yeah.
We do a hydrate or dihydrate. It's usually just the idols very aggressively telling the pit to drink water.
Yeah.
Like, go and drink!
Drink!
So there's no chanting because the pit are furiously trying to drink water. But that also might just be me because I do a lot of non-stop sets, so there's no MC, or the MC is all in the audio. So there's not a lot of stops. So the second I actually do stop, everyone's going for water. I'm running for water. The pit's running for water. We're like,
hit them with the do.
Blackpink.
Oh! It didn't register in my head. I was like, what? Huh? Hello?
Things like that. Make it fun.
Do you have any upcoming shows, Sunny? When's your next show?
What am I doing? Let me look. What day is it? Today's the 7th. Everyone say happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
To a friend of mine. Thank you, it's not my birthday, it's someone else's birthday. But happy birthday to a friend of mine.
Happy birthday to Sunny's friend!
What do we got? Next week is the 14th. I'm performing on Monday. I'm performing tomorrow.
Oh!
Forgot about that.
Are you still sick? You are still sick. You're gonna perform sick?
Yeah, I am still sick. Yep, and I'm gonna work a full shift and then perform. It's gonna be great. I was so excited.
Really?
So performing tomorrow, and then next up will be the 20th and the 21st at Oz Comic Con. I will be performing. So you can see Fable on the 20th, and then the 21st you can see a Sunny solo set, and then perhaps you should keep that evening free at the Red Wattler, guys. Perhaps there will be a show.
Perhaps.
Be announced soon.
Mayhaps. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yes, tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be there. So if you're in the city after work, come swing by. We're going to be maids. Coda and I are going to be Kuromi and My Melody. So
I can't wait to see the clips on Twitter. That's how I consume Sunny content these days, because I'm not in Australia. I just stare at her Twitter, and whenever she does something cool, I go, oh, that's so cool, and then I continue watching more Sunny clips.
Yes, Twitter's the best place to follow me. I post the most there. You can look on Instagram, but Instagram's typically a lot of formal announcements. So if you actually want to hear ramblings and see clips, Twitter's the best place to be. I try to post on TikTok when I can, but not very often. Most of my clips go to Twitter.
Links in the
Instagram's good because a lot of people tag me in videos of me, so you'll see stuff on show.
Oh, true. Yeah, there's a lot of like Instagram stories that happen. That's nice.
Yes,
so there are those.
But yeah, thank you for coming on the stream. Like, there's still so many questions. Like, bro, how did you get into sewing? That's a big question.
I've been sewing my whole life.
Really?
Yeah, so my mum used to sew.
And I don't know, I just always liked making things. So I was sewing from when I started knitting when I was 5. And I really liked knitting, and my mum got sick of me knitting because they'd have to cast on for me, and I was constantly knitting. So I was like, Mum, is my scarf long enough now? And it was like 2 meters long. She was like, oh, I gave you this yesterday. So she got really tired. So she was like, but so originally she used to cut out little felt shapes. And I would sew like blanket stitch around the edges, but I got too good at that, so I would do them really quickly, and she got sick of making like 5 in a day. So she gave me knitting, and then I got too good at knitting, so we went back to sewing. She kind of just gave me my own sewing kit, and some felt, and I just used to mess around with it, because I used to like sticky tape tissues to my teddy bears to make dresses for them. Like,
that's crazy.
It's always been sewing. So I think I did a lot of hand sewing, and then when I was in grade 6, I took sewing lessons for like 6 months, maybe. It was like a high school sewing class though, so all the kids were like 16, and I was there like 11. Like, hello, I like to sew. So that was when I used a sewing machine for the first time. That kind of 6 months, and then from there, I had a sewing machine at home, and I just used to make stuff for fun. So I would sew constantly. Yeah, self-taught mostly.
Off
I went sewing lesson off Kai. You know what? That's kind of slay, actually. That sounds fun. So I did do a diploma in costume design, but I had enough self-taught knowledge. Typically, to do that, you need to do a lower qualification first. So you'd have to do a Cert 3 in fashion design to do the diploma. But for those who aren't in Australia. But I had enough skills from my own sewing at home that they let me pass on RPL.
Dang.
My one claim to fame. And I did the diploma, which is only advanced costume techniques. So we did like corsetry, we did historical sewing, we did leather work. So it was stuff like that. And then a big major work at the end. So it wasn't actually a lot of sewing. Kind of, you were expected to already know how to sew, and they just taught you some fancy techniques. Honestly, so yeah, I don't know. Just always sewing is the thing I've been doing for forever. Dancing I picked up when I was older.
And bro, your costumes are like magical. Oh my god. I know that's like one of the first interactions we had where we actually like started talking was me just geeking out about your dress.
Thank you.
That dress is magical.
I wish I had more time to put into it.
Oh my god. So because you have all of this sewing experience, kind of what is the difference between sewing idol costumes versus like historical garments versus like modern, just regular fashion?
All of it is to do with the purpose it's for. So idol costumes are different in a few ways. So as opposed to fashion, there's a sense of branding about them. So I've been meaning to do a proper, like a whole thing on this. I wanted to do a panel about sewing costumes, but basically I did a really quick one recently that you can go watch. If you look up Idol 101 at Smash 2024, I do a 10-minute segment on designing idol costumes as well. But to give the brief overview, there's a sense of branding about them. So they kind of have to fulfill a few different functions. They need to be recognizable as your group. They need to set an expectation for what your group is going to do and what you're going to sound like, so it can draw people in.
Because you don't want people to look at your Instagram or see you on the stage from a distance or walking around a con and be like, oh, they look like Space Rangers. I want to go to their set and see the Space Rangers. And then you get there and they only do maid songs.
Yeah.
No one is happy because they wanted to see Space Rangers.
Yeah.
But then the people who would have wanted to see maids didn't come, you know? So they're telling the story to draw in the correct people for you. They also need to be recognizable, because if someone can't look across a con and see you in your idol costume and be like, holy crap, that's Sunny, that's Twig, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's not serving its purpose, you know? It needs to be that unique to you and spottable. So that's kind of the main expectations. And then, unlike fashion or other kinds of costuming, it has to serve a purpose on stage. So it needs to look good while you're dancing. Does it? Depends on what kind of dancing you're doing. So, for instance, sometimes if you're doing cuter songs or bouncier songs, or you spin a lot, you want a skirt that's going to move. You want a petticoat. But if you're doing more complex choreography with your legs and you're kicking and you're doing some more edgy stuff, that's not going to serve the purpose. It's going to make it look worse. It's going to hide your choreography. It's going to get in the way of your legs. So you don't necessarily want a skirt like that. So function is a big aspect. The other part that goes into it a lot is you have to be in this costume for hours. Yes. And you get very hot on stage and very sweaty. So heat exhaustion is a huge factor, particularly in Australia. I've done plenty of shows where it's been 40 degrees.
Oh my God.
And we've had, shows where idols have overheated and almost got heat exhaustion, or we've had to put ice packs on them and stuff. Like, it's a genuine concern to be looked after. So, what kind of choreography are you doing? How easily do you get hot? I find different people find different things make them overheat. Like, if my costume has a high neck on it, I get hot very quickly, but I can have sleeves without a problem. Whereas I know other idols need their sort of where your collarbones are, and you open that up, they're fine, but they can have something around their neck. So that's kind of a big factor as well, making sure they're safe to perform in, they're comfortable to perform in, and for most groups, particularly Fable, that they can handle wear and tear, because we go pretty crazy very often. So this thing is being worn once a week to do 20 songs rolling around the floor, It's, you need to be able to move in it. Like, a lot of dresses, they don't really think about, can I wave my arms above my head? Like, yeah, you can. It kind of pulls up and looks a bit weird, but you don't do that very often. When you're doing an idol set, my arms are above my head half the song, So I need to be able to move. And it can be a particular factor. Like, on Saturday, I was performing in a costume that's based on a cheongsam. And, traditional cheongsams, the sleeves are quite tight. They're like cap sleeves, and you're not really meant to be able to move your arms much. But that's kind of had to be changed for me to be able to perform in it. So, and then so fabric choices as well are very important. Is your costume lined? What is it lined with? Is it very hot fabric choices? Things like that.
I can imagine polyester is kind of a nightmare in that scenario. Anything like vinyl polyester.
Exactly. Like, we just made new Fable costumes that are all like vinyl and plastic and synthetic, right? They look really, really cool, but the fabrics are not very breathable. But you can see most of them, they don't have they've got cutouts. They're quite short, there's not much, but there's also a factor of when you look at sets that are coming up, that should be a factor which you pick from your selection of costumes. So if we were going to be doing an event outside in 40-degree heat, we're not going to wear those costumes. Yeah. That's not a good idea. We're just not going to do that. However, at an air-conditioned convention, we could wear them. We could wear them maybe for a hotter set, like the other venue. SCAC can get really hot in the summer. We could probably do a 15-minute set in them. But if we're doing 40 minutes, maybe not a good call in summer. So I feel like it's good to have a combination of, I call them, what are they called? Showstopper costumes and more functional costumes. So Fable's a good example, because we have the space uniforms. We see the hoodies we wear all the time. They're very breathable, very easy to move in, easy to wash, recognizable core costumes. They work in any situation. The newer holographic ones would probably be one of our first set of showstopper costumes. They're hard to clean. They're more delicate. They look really cool. They can't be worn in every situation. So they're like a special costume. So it's good to have one of each, because if you've only got fancy special costumes and then you come across a situation where, oh, this would be such a good opportunity, but all my costumes are too hot or too sparkly or too, I can't move in them. What am I going to do? You know, so yeah, there's a lot of that kind of factor as well to think about.
Do you guys also, I'm assuming you guys also do merch, and I know you do solo merch as well. How does that kind of get handled on the back end?
We commission out the art a lot of the time, but we do plan and design it all ourselves. So we'll be like, come up with ideas, or we'll hear from the audience about, again, because Fable have kind of been around a while now, that we kind of know what sells well with our audience, or they'll tell us, like, when are you getting a new shirt? I want a keychain, etc., etc. And we'll go from there. So we kind of manage that stock intake ourselves. We'll go, keychains are selling really well. Let's get some more keychains. You know, we'll get the design made, and then I'll spec them up and I'll send them out to the production company and get them made, and then they'll come in and we'll put them on the table, and then we handle them on our websites and the shipping and the orders all ourselves. I'm doing a big run at the moment because I have a new release coming out, as you know, so there's going to be a huge new wave of work. So that's what I was doing today, mostly designing new stuff. So some of it's more complex than others, like when we did the Fable towels or the Fable t-shirt, we worked more one-on-one with a production place because there was a bigger run, making sure they were okay. Or when I made my CD, you know, that's pretty in-depth back and forth for a while, as opposed to like, very similar to like when you table at a con, like those artist alley tables. It's basically like having an artist alley table alongside doing performing.
Top
of doing so there's a lot that goes into that as well. Trying to, I think, because the audience is smaller, our sales, interestingly, are often to the same people over and over again. So it's a lot more smaller runs, higher turnover, limited edition, smaller runs, because we get hit a lot more with the, I've already got that keychain. When are you getting a new one? As opposed to like, we need 200 of these before they sell out. So I'm trying to keep the ideas fresh, doing our best. But physical merch sells pretty decently for us, but mostly it's Checky. Everyone wants
Checky. Checky, my beloved. I love Checky. Anyways, I won't keep you too long. It's what, like 10 p.m. for you almost?
Yeah, 10:45.
Thank you so much for coming to the podcast. I look up to you. I hope the best for your releases too. I'm looking out for them.
Well, thank you. I'm hoping to make some announcements soon. I'm waiting on one thing, but very soon. Keep an eye out for some teasers, guys. And thank you for having me. I really like talking about this stuff. It means a lot to me to try and get the Aussie scene out there to more people. We've struggled in past years about connecting with the international community, so I'm pretty passionate about trying to get us out there. So I really appreciate it. And I like talking, so thanks for having me. Thank you, chat, for coming and listening to me yap. I hope it was interesting.
No, it was so interesting. Like, learning how you do things is so nice, because not only is it applicable to me, but I know some people that I'm gonna be like, watch this VOD after.
Absolutely. And then if any idols have questions, I'm always happy to answer them. It might take me a little while to get to you, but please feel free to DM me, and when I have a moment, I'll send you a wall of text.
But yeah, everyone, make sure to check out Sunny and support Fable. Both are really talented. Like we talked about before, like, Sunny is a ball of energy that is comparable to the sun. And Fable is full of like really, really, really talented performers. So if you're in my audience and you don't know them yet, you should absolutely know them. All of Sunny's links are in the description, and I believe I also linked Fable's links. Yes, I did. So make sure to check all of those out.
The FAE.
Sorry?
Sorry, I'm looking at all your links. You did
Oh.
link everybody. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I try to be good about that. But I think Sunny may outlast the sun at this rate. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you will. Like,
Yep.
You are going faster than
hard
the
to get rid of me. We say this a lot. The day Sunny retires is gonna be the day pigs fly and the world's gonna end.
Yeah,
Because I would never. I would never.
I don't know how you do it, bro, but
I don't know either.
I'm gonna be out there building my stamina.
Yeah, jump up and down.
If Sunny can do it, so can I. Raw.
Exactly. Everyone can do it. Literally. Yeah. Go for it, guys. You can do it for sure.
But yeah, thank you all for coming. My next stream for my audience is gonna be on Monday night, 7 p.m. If you don't know what your time zone is in regarding to mine, my time is on screen. Check that out. Wow. It's 8:49 in the morning right now. Whoa. And the next Idle Talk podcast is next week. We always do it at the same time on Sundays. I freaked Sunny out yesterday because I woke up and thought it was Sunday. But alas, it is indeed. It is indeed every Sunday, and we talk about idols. Kaigai idols, J-pop idols, idol companies, everything. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thank you all for being here, and yeah, thank you again to Sunny.
Thank you, everyone. The Aussies here. Check out Twig, please. I see you. Roll call. Several of you belong to me. Please check out Twig. Thank you very much. I see you in chat.
You have been perceived.
They've been very lovely to me. It's required.
We are going to raid Hannah from the Power Hannah channel. She is an idol in training. So please make sure to give her your support. If you've never been in a YouTube raid before, the stream's gonna end and there's gonna be a little pop-up that goes up saying, hey, we're gonna go over to this person's channel. And after that, we're gonna be in their chat and we're gonna be really cool and snazzy and awesome to them, and we're gonna say get twigged. The raid message never changes, it's always get twigged. Anyways, I will see you all later at some point. You should all see Sunny tomorrow at her live. Yippee! Okay, bye everyone. Bye!
Bye-bye.